Hey everybody, welcome to today's live stream. This is the light side reactions and reviews. It's Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the time we have set aside each week to do our mukbangs and food reviews. Here's the tie of the week. This is one that I really enjoy. I like a lot. Being a musician, singer, songwriter, guitarist, jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, as they say. I play piano a little bit. I play trumpet a little bit. A lot of stringed instruments I can play. Can't do drums. Drums is the one instrument that I was never able to master because I don't have the coordination to get the hands and the feet at the same time. But I could play bass guitar. Once you learn how to play acoustic guitar or just a regular 6-string guitar, you can pretty much pick up bass, especially if you learn to do it country style. Because when you play guitar country style, you start with the root note, with the bass note, and then you strum. Learning that was pretty easy. But anyway, being a musician, former band member and stuff, I love music, of course. And so I've got my musical tie today. Kind of a unique one. It's got the treble clef here, and it's split down the middle, black and white. White background on one side with the black half of the treble clef, and then black background on the other side with the white half of the treble clef. And so I did a TV show. It's probably been over 10 years ago now. A pilot for a TV show that never really took off. It was called Cousin Ed's Front Porch, and a friend of mine was a puppeteer and had his puppet company, and he and his father-in-law was starting this television show with these puppets. And he got a hold of me and he said, I need somebody to write the music for this pilot. And he said, would you be interested in doing it? So I wrote the music for it. He ended up writing a walk-on role for me as a supporting character on the show called Mr. Music. And each week my role was to come out and play the guitar and teach the kids the songs, and then kids would sing the song together. And then the costume they had for me was a black t-shirt with a white treble clef on it. Now the pilot never really took off. They had some offers from some different companies. I believe they were offering it to like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and several other kid-friendly cable channels and stuff at the time. But nobody picked it up, and I think they said the reason was all the companies wanted to have creative rights to the thing. You had to sign it over to them entirely, and the creator said, I'll let you guys have input into it, but he said I want to maintain creative control over it. And so that was a sticking point, and it never took off. They couldn't find a buyer that was willing to let him retain the creative control over the writing that would be on the shows. And of course, it was a family-friendly, Christian-based puppet company. And as a Christian, one of the reasons why he was doing this show was he wanted to put out some family-friendly, old-fashioned, kids content that could compete with the stuff that he was seeing, on TV these days and on cable that was being offered to kids that wasn't really wholesome, wasn't really family-friendly, was putting out a lot of questionable stuff, a lot of, growing up, we watched Shrek was the thing, and there was a lot of innuendo between the lines and stuff, and he didn't want that kind of stuff. He didn't want the innuendo to where, kids wouldn't get it. For the kids, it would go over their heads, but for the adults, the adults would get it. And he wanted something that would be, these kids would grow up and still look back on it and see as family-friendly and something they could share without, bothering their conscience, sort of thing. Anyway, this tie reminds me of that because that's the outfit that they had for me for that. We ended up filming 2 pilot episodes. We filmed the pilot episode, and I wrote the music for it and performed it on the show. We filmed that, and then we also did a second episode, which was the first actual episode beyond the pilot. But again, nobody's ever seen those. In fact, I've only seen clips from it. I've never actually seen the full edited episodes put together, and I'm really disappointed in that. I really was hoping that even if it never was broadcast on TV or anything, I was hoping at some point that I would be able to see and maybe have a copy of those episodes. Who knows? Maybe someday they'll be able to find the archived footage and dig that out. It'd be pretty awesome. But anyway, that's beside the point. Just mention that because of the tie this morning. I wear a different tie every week. That's my Sunday thing. For church, I wear a different tie, and that's the one I just happened to get today. Now today, for our review, I'm going a little bit light today. I'm not getting a full meal, and the reason is because big day for me today. We had church this morning. My mother's having visitors today from out of town. She's excited for that. Thank you all for your concerns and your questions about her. She was in the hospital last week after, initially she had a stroke a couple months ago, and she was in the hospital for that for several weeks up in Columbus, Ohio. And when she was released from there, she was sent back here to a nursing home temporarily for rehab so that she could get use of her left side again, her arm and leg. She's making quite a bit of progress and doing great. Then she had a couple of setbacks. One of them was last week. She had a setback. She had pneumonia and a UTI. The UTI hit her pretty hard, and the pneumonia, they caught it when it was in its early stages. So she's doing okay. She was released from the hospital late this past week, and she is back at the nursing home. And yesterday I spent some time with her, several hours, and she was in good spirits and stuff, although she was kind of weak and tired, but she was in good spirits. She was excited to see her visitor, her sister, and her sister's husband came to visit from out of town, and so she was excited to see them. And today, her other sister and a bunch of my cousins, which would be her nieces, and possibly a nephew or two might come also. But they're all coming from out of town to see her today. So she's going to have a huge day. And then, our church, we had our service this morning. And late this afternoon at 5:30, we're having a dinner. And, if you ever had a old country church dinner, like especially Baptist or Methodist, are famous for when they have their dinners, they go all out. It's like a potluck sort of thing. Everybody brings something. And there's just so much good food that you have to try everything. And so looking forward to that. I'm not going to get a big lunch today, and so I decided to just go for drinks. Now, I mentioned the last a couple videos ago that we recently had some floods here in the Ohio Valley, and they're doing cleanup from that. One of the places that was hit by that was Stoked Coffee House in Marietta, and that's where one of the places I hit today. I'm coming from. Shoot, I didn't get a receipt to get the exact address on it. From either place. The other one's Starbucks. There's a Starbucks. They're both off of Pike Street. Let's see. Interstate 77 is pretty much where it's located. You come up, if you're coming from north or south, either way, Interstate 77 on the Ohio-West Virginia border. You take exit 1 on the Ohio side, and as you get off the exit, depending on which way you go, I would say, east. See, that'd be north, so that would be, right would be east. So if you're going east, it would take you toward Walmart. There's a Walmart on the right-hand side of the road, and on the left side of the road, there's a hotel, and behind that hotel, there's a Starbucks. And so if you're going the opposite direction, west, off that exit, this is all Pike Street, you go west a couple blocks, and you come to, let's see, there's a Long John Silver's, a Valvoline, and there's a couple other locations, and right past them, there's a Stoked Coffee House. And there's also a Stoked Coffee House on Blizzard Drive in Parkersburg, West Virginia. So if you're native to West Virginia, if you're in the Parkersburg area, you might stop at the Blizzard Drive location. In the Ohio end of town, or in the state of Ohio, on that in that neck of the woods, so to speak, you could go to the one on Pike Street in Marietta. But the one on Pike Street is one that was hit by water, and they've been doing cleanup from that with the high water got into the building and did some damage. So they're not fully open yet. Their lobby is still closed while they're doing repairs and cleanup and stuff, but their drive-through is open. And so I said in one of my videos recently that what I'm going to try to do with my videos here in the near future is to try to support some of these locations that were hit by the water, to try out some of their products and share them with you. And hopefully, if they're good, then that would be a location that you can put on your list of places when you're in the area to try. If you're native to this area, just head down there to one of these locations and give it a try. See what they got, if they appeal to you. But anyway, what we're trying today, we're comparing Starbucks with Stoked coffee. Starbucks, everybody knows Starbucks. It's all over the country. It's one of the highest end types of coffee you can get. It's well known to be one of the most expensive. It started on the West Coast, I believe, around Oregon, Portland, Oregon, or maybe Washington, somewhere that area is where it got its start, and then just branched out all over the world. So it's basically a huge franchise, but it's expensive. Everybody says their coffee is excellent, but it's about the most expensive that you can get. Stoked Coffee House is a local franchise. It's just, as far as I know, it's just the two locations that exist. And I don't know if they've got more locations elsewhere, but around here, that's all I know of, is the one in Parkersburg and the one here in Marietta. But anyway, the people here locally love Stoked coffee, and I have never tried it before. And they say it's comparable to Starbucks. And so I thought I would go ahead and try both of them today. A couple different menus that were the same, or a couple different items that are the same on both menus, and compare them and see what we got. And so that's what we're going to do today. And I'm not a coffee drinker, so I've never been to Stoked Coffee House before, and I've never been to Starbucks before. I think I might have been to Starbucks once, years ago, when I had a business meeting or something, but I don't really remember much about it. In fact, I think that maybe even that wasn't Starbucks. I think it maybe was a Panera Bread. I went one time. But that's another place I've never really been to, so maybe sometime we'll check out Panera also. But anyway, on the menu, what we're getting today, we got a Mocha, which is a type of coffee, and I got them the same. This is the way they come on the menu. There's a espresso with milk, dark chocolate, chocolate drizzle, and whipped cream. So that's what's on the Mocha at both Starbucks and Stoked. And they come in 3 different sizes. Now here's where it gets interesting. Usually you think of small, medium, and large. That's what we call them. Well, Starbucks has their own way of doing things. So they call it tall, grande, and venti. And those are, I guess, Italian phrases. Well, tall isn't. Tall is English. But grande and venti, I assume those are Italian words. But the tall is really small. What we would call a small, other place. They call that tall. And then they've got grande is their version of the medium. And grande, you think of Ariana Grande, but literally the word means big. And then venti is their version of the large. So you've got the tall, grande, and venti. And that'd be small, medium, large. I went with the small because I'm, big day. I don't want to drink too much coffee, especially me not being a coffee drinker. I've drunk coffee before, and I drink coffee occasionally, but very rarely. When I was working a 9-to-5 job, I would sometimes get coffee to wake me up in the mornings. But the job I have now, I basically set my own schedule, so I don't have to worry about drinking coffee that often. Every once in a while, I'll get up for Sunday morning for church, and I'll be dragging, and I might fix a small cup of coffee or something. But by and large, I'm not a coffee drinker per se. So I got the small, or what they call the tall, Mocha, and I got the same thing at Stoked, the small. The price differences: the Starbucks is $4.95 and the Stoked is $4.05. I'll go ahead and give you the prices for all 3 sizes. Okay, so for the Mocha at Starbucks, the small is $4.95 and at Stoked is $4.05, so it's a little bit cheaper at Stoked. The medium is $5.45 at Starbucks, or Grande, $5.45, and Stoked is $4.70. The large or venti at Starbucks is $5.65, and at Stoked it's $5.30. So you can already see a price difference, that the Stoked is cheaper. Then the other drink I got was the signature drink at Stoked Coffee House, which they call the Stoked Mocha. And it's basically the same thing as the other mocha, except instead of dark chocolate, it's white chocolate. And instead of a chocolate drizzle, it's a caramel drizzle. And then you get the whipped cream on top of it. You can get it with or without the whipped cream. And so the Stoked Mocha is $4.30 for the small, and the comparable drink at Starbucks is $5.25. So again, the white chocolate is and the caramel is a little bit more expensive than the chocolate, the plain chocolate with the chocolate drizzle, or dark chocolate with chocolate drizzle. But it's the same at both places. The same scale. So Stoked is $4.30 for the small, and Starbucks is $5.25. The Stoked is $4.95 for the medium, and the Starbucks is $5.95, so a full dollar extra. The large at Stoked is $5.55, and the large at Starbucks is $6.25. So again, you see the price difference. Stoked is just a little bit cheaper than the Starbucks. And so let's go ahead and check these out and see what we've got as far as taste test. See how they're different. Okay, this is Starbucks. This one is it says TI Mocha with Mocha Drizzle. So this will be the plain one, the regular Mocha with the chocolate. And then from Stoked Coffee House, so you got the same type of cups with the little wrap around it. Kind of cool. And this one is the regular Mocha. Okay, so here's the two regular Mochas. Let's compare the cup sizes. Looks like the cup sizes are identical. I'll go ahead and get the logos here where you can see them for the thumbnail. Get my hand out of the way. So here we're going to try these. We're going to compare and see how they do. Okay, now the Stoked one, they've got this little tab. See that tab there? It's covering up the spout. That's nice. Starbucks doesn't have that. See, they've got the spout right here. It's open. Stoked has this little tab on it to keep it from spilling. That's nice. I never thought about that. But, yep, nice little tip there. And it's the same way they've got one. Stoked has one on both of their cups. Starbucks doesn't have it at all. So, nice idea, Stoked. I don't know if that's something that you guys are the only ones that do, but that's a clever idea. And of course, with all the lawsuits, you've heard in the past, going back to the 90s, I guess, the big McDonald's lawsuit where this lady tried to sue them because she spilled hot coffee on herself and complained about the temperature of the coffee. Well, it's coffee. It's going to be hot, obviously. But she said it was too hot, and it caused like severe burns and sort of stuff. So this is a good idea to prevent that. Nice forward thinking there. All right, let's go ahead and try the Starbucks first. This is the regular Mocha. It's a good flavor. It's almost got like a little bit of a hot chocolatey type of flavor. It doesn't have like a strong coffee taste. So people that aren't coffee drinkers, this is not something that I think you would enjoy. And then again, this is a Starbucks version. It's really good. It almost tastes just like hot chocolate. Reminds me of when I was a teenager or as a kid. We had our church youth group, and we'd go out for Halloween and do Halloween hay rides. We'd all, being from the country, City folk don't understand this. This is something you don't do in the city. But out in the country, we'd get the fathers would get out their pickup trucks or maybe a tractor and pull a trailer behind, and the kids would all pile on the back. We drive around the countryside, visiting homes of people that were shut in, basically the elderly that couldn't get out and do things, so they were stuck in their homes. We would go around and we would sing songs to them. Being close to Christmas, sometimes we do Christmas caroling, and if it was like for Halloween, maybe not quite Christmas time yet, we would have our own little songs we would sing, the popular church songs like Amazing Grace, How Great Thou Art, stuff like that. Some of our favorites growing up, The Family of God was one we liked to sing. Another one was there's little praise choruses. Jesus Loves Me. The little kids like singing that one. He's got the whole world in his hands. But one of the ones that the older kids, the teenagers, like doing, Pass It On. Because it only takes a spark to get a fire going. And of course, we joked about that, about being cold outside. Like somebody, start a spark, get us a fire. It's cold out. And so we'd go around singing songs to the people that were in their homes, and then we would give them like a gift bag or basket or something, like a fruit basket, something like that. And the people really enjoyed it. They look forward to us doing that every year, and the kids loved it too. Got to pile in the back of a truck for a hay ride, drive around. Back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, growing up as kids, we could do that kind of stuff all the time. The seat belts wasn't a state law, wasn't a federal law by any means, and people rarely wore seat belts back then. And so it wasn't out of the ordinary for us to climb in the back of a pickup truck and drive around. Just a normal traffic. You see the traffic behind me on the highway here. There goes a police car. If they saw that, they saw a pickup truck going along with kids in the back today, they'd pull you over. You'd get a ticket, and depending on the situation, might even end up spend the night in jail, sort of thing. But back then, that was just commonplace. It was a normal thing to do, and so we don't do that anymore. We do the hay rides now for Christmas. We do Christmas caroling hay rides, but it's not the same as when you did them back then, and so a little bit safer today than it was back then with the way we do it now. But anyway, we used to do that. I can't remember where I was heading with that. Hot chocolate flavor. This reminds me of that. Because afterwards we go back to the church. The kids would give the treat to the people that we went to sing to and give the gift baskets to. And afterwards the kids would get their treat. We'd go back to the church and they'd have hot chocolate, marshmallows, and snacks waiting for us. Caramel apples, candy apples. We always look forward to that. And of course, you spend an hour or two just hanging around, playing, talking to each other, having a great time. That's what we're going to be doing tonight at the church. So if you're in the area, feel free to stop out. Highland Bridge Church, 2200 Highland Bridge Road in Lowell, Ohio. Absolutely free. It's not going to be preaching or anything like that. It's just a dinner, potluck. People were encouraged to bring an item to share if they want to, but you don't have to. Just show up and enjoy the fellowship and the company. And we do that, we do something like that about once every month. May not always be a dinner, but we try to do something like that. Whether it be a movie night or a game night, just some kind of fellowship sort of thing to where we can hang out and just have a good time together. But yeah, that reminds me of that. Okay, so that's pretty good. Good flavor, especially for those that aren't coffee drinkers. It's got more of a hot chocolate flavor. Now let's try the Stoked version. This is the regular Mocha. Stoked Coffee House. Regular Mocha. Richer. It's got a richer flavor. They're both good, but this is definitely the richer flavor of the two. This is the the Starbucks has more of a flat taste, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a matter of how you like your drink. Do you want it to have like a richer sauce flavor, or just the plain? And this one, yeah, this one's almost a little watery compared to this one. This one you can taste the drizzle in it a lot more. The chocolate drizzle. Ooh, that's good. Very rich, sweet. Very rich and sweet. Boy, these are both good. I'm giving the edge, honestly. I'm giving the edge to the Stoked one on this because I do like that sweetness to it. And I don't know what the calorie content is on them comparison wise. The sizes are the same, so they're identical sizes. And so I guess it's just up to your taste, which you prefer. Do you want to taste the sweetness more, or would you just rather be more of a subtle kind of a flat flavor? If you want the subtle flat kind of maybe watered down flavor, a little bit more water tasting than the actual sweetness of the drizzle, then you might go with the Starbucks. Personally, I'm going with the Stoked. I would give the Starbucks. It's got a good flavor. I'd give it a 6.5 to the Starbucks. I would give this a 7.5. I'd go up a full step. I'd give this a 7.5. Yes, very good. It's got a bit of an aftertaste too. It's got a little bit of a kick there. And of course, these being small, it's almost gone already. I'd say it might be up to here now. I drank most of it right there, just a few sips. So if I come back, this may be one of my favorite drinks. Come back for this again. I'm not going to just go for the small. I'm going to get the large. Okay, I'm going to wash these two flavors out before I try the next flavor so that I don't have like a crossover. Just a little drink of water there. Okay, now let's try the white chocolate version. That we just had, the two drinks, was the Mocha with dark chocolate and chocolate drizzle. Okay, so now here's the Starbucks version, and this they call TI White Mocha with caramel drizzle. TI White Mocha with caramel drizzle. And here's the Stoked version, and it's called the Stoked Mocha. So if you're wanting the white chocolate with the caramel drizzle, that's what they're called at the two locations. Okay, so let's start with the Starbucks. And they're still hot. That's good. They're still hot in my hand. I can feel the heat. So after this time, we're almost a half hour into the live stream. So 35-40 minutes since I bought these, and they're still hot. So that's good. Holding in the heat. Okay, let's go ahead and try the Starbucks. Okay, that's good. It does taste watered down. I wonder if is Starbucks drinks always have that kind of flat taste to them? Everybody goes on and on about how Starbucks is fantastic, but it almost tastes watered down. I don't know if that's just a fluke or if that's commonplace. I almost expected it to have a richer flavor. A little bit of an aftertaste there too. That I don't know. Again, I'm not a coffee drinker, so maybe it's just my own bias that, as a non-coffee drinker, and, maybe some of you might appreciate it better than I would. Those of you that drink coffee regularly. I mean, it's not bad, but you know what? I've had you get your I've done the instant coffee before. That's what I normally would drink when I drink coffee. The Maxwell House sort of thing. You buy the crystals in the can, where you get the instant. Um, my parents have a one of those coffee makers, the instant thing where you come with a little K cups, the Keurig coffee maker, and I've had a couple of those, and I would say I wouldn't say this is like really, really a lot better than the Keurig coffee. Excuse me, from the Keurig coffee that you get from those little cups. So for being something that is widely known for being so expensive, I'm not extremely impressed with the Starbucks. It's not bad, but for being known as one of the most expensive coffees, if not the most expensive coffee that you can get, it's a little bit disappointing, I have to say. But it is good. This one isn't as good as the other one. I'm going to try it again. Okay, now this one's starting to lose its taste too. This one's starting to taste real watered down. I must have gotten maybe it wasn't stirred up right. But it tastes almost like I'm getting mostly like dirty water at this point in it. Yeah, it tastes like a flat coffee. Now, it doesn't taste as good as it did when I first tried it. When I first tried this one, the original Mocha from Starbucks, I'd give it a 6.5. It's down to a 5.5 at this point. Maybe even a 4.5. Yeah, the top half of it was really good. What was good? You get down to the bottom of the cup, it's below average. I would drink the Maxwell House instant coffee before I would drink that, if that's how it tasted all the way through. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I didn't shake it up enough. It wasn't stirred up. This one's better. The Starbucks white chocolate is better than the what we had here, the dark chocolate. So if I gave the Starbucks dark chocolate 6.5, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change this to a 6. This is a 6, and this is a 6.5. So the Starbucks Mocha is 6 stars, 6 out of 10. And the Starbucks white chocolate Mocha is 6.5. Okay, that's a good flavor, but a little bit it tastes a little bit watered down. Okay, now let's try. Let's get a sip of water to cleanse the palate. Okay, now let's try the Stoked Mocha. And this is their signature drink. And so apparently this is what everybody goes crazy over. In fact, they're proud of this. They advertise this. They've got a great big sign out front at Stoked Coffee House. They were voted the #1 coffee in the Mid-Ohio Valley. And so by the voters, the customers in the local newspaper. So they're proud of that, and this is their signature drink. So let's see right here. This is the Stoked Mocha, which is basically the mocha which is espresso, and instead of the espresso and milk, and instead of dark chocolate, it's got white chocolate, and instead of the chocolate drizzle, it's got a caramel drizzle, and then whipped cream. And you can get it with or without the whipped cream. And also, by the way, they told me you can get these sugar-free also. They're available in sugar-free options. So if that's a concern to you, you can go either way. You can get with the sugar or sugar-free. Okay, let's go ahead and try this. All right, spit a little bit. Okay, that's good. It's definitely better than the Starbucks, both of them. Today I'm giving the edge to Stoked all around. I prefer the Stoked over the Starbucks. And again, it's a matter of taste. If you like the flatter, watered down taste, then Starbucks is the way to go. This is giving you a little bit more flavor than the Starbucks gives you. I want to compare these two again. This is the regular chocolate, the dark chocolate, and the white chocolate. It's a tough call. I'm surprised. Honestly, I think I like the dark chocolate better than the white chocolate. That surprises me because when it comes to like candy bars, dark chocolate is typically my least favorite. I like the milk chocolate candy bars. Like you're thinking like Hershey, that sort of thing, or one of the other famous brands. I can't think of the name now, but it's comparable. But typically, there's the dark chocolate, and then there's the milk chocolate, and I like the milk chocolate better. There goes an ambulance. Dear Lord, please be with whoever is needing medical attention right now. Amen. Sorry about that. When it comes to candy bars, I typically prefer the milk chocolate over the dark chocolate, and I like the white chocolate better than both of them. But here, white chocolate's good. But the dark chocolate is sweeter. And that seems unusual to me because usually you would think of dark chocolate not being as sweet as the milk chocolate. And also not as sweet as the white chocolate. So this is a very sweet dark chocolate. And maybe that's why I'm liking this so much. Is because of the sweetness to it. And that's unusual for a coffee. This is my drink right here. Out of the 4 drinks today, my favorite is the regular Mocha from Stoked Coffee House. I thought going into it that I would prefer the Stoked Mocha, the one that has the white chocolate. And it's good. Okay, here's my ratings. Okay, on the Starbucks, see which one was which. The Starbucks, the regular Mocha, the chocolate one, if I remember correctly, was 6 stars, 6 out of 10. And then the white chocolate was 6.5 out of 10. With the Stoked, the white chocolate or the Stoked Mocha is 6.5 out of 10. And the regular Mocha from Stoked Coffee House, I'm going to give it a solid 7. Solid 7 out of 10. So when I go back to Stoked Coffee House, I'm going to go back at some time and try some of the different items. I just wanted to try today, compare some similar items on their menu. I guess they've got other stuff as well, as does Starbucks. In addition to the drink, they've got all kinds of drinks. I just looked at their menu online. I can't pull it up right now, but there's like hundreds of different varieties that you can do. You can add different spices, different flavors, different toppings, that you can customize your drinks and stuff. In addition to that, they've also got pastries and sandwiches and different food items that you can get as well. And they've got, according to the menu, they've got biscotti. I don't know if you ever had biscotti before. I have had it, but it's been years. And I can just vaguely remember that it was some sort of like a crunchy, sort of, not really a pastry, but almost like a stick sort of thing. And it's like a breakfast sort of, almost a pastry sort of thing, but not quite a pastry. Almost kind of a cross between a pastry and a cookie, maybe. And so they've got like some different flavors of that. And so sometime I'm going to come back and I'm going to try some of those as well. Try the different flavored biscottis and see which one I like better. And maybe try one of their signature sandwiches, something like that. Who knows? I'll have to look down their menu and see what all they got. But for today, I just want to try the mochas, compare them for both. So that's my verdict. Comment down below if you've ever been to Starbucks or if you've ever been to Stoked. And if you've been, at least, especially if you've been to both of them, what's your favorite drink? And if you've had their mochas, do you agree with my assessment? Or do you prefer one of the others that I didn't choose? Excuse me. But anyway, moving on. Just to wrap up for today, we've got a few minutes left. I did want to talk a little bit about on my channel. This is the live stream section. Over on the videos section, I started up doing some reviews, like I used to do my reaction reviews, where I basically look at some teaser trailers and trailers for upcoming movies that are coming out. And the last one I did, I just posted it yesterday, was for M. Night Shyamalan's new movie called Trap, and it's coming out, I think, in August. And so I just posted that yesterday. So if you want to go over and watch that review, you can. But when I was watching that video, I made a comment while it was going on the stream, or while I was watching the video. And then in my commentary, I didn't come back and clarify what I was talking about. And so I'll go a little bit more detail on that here. But there's a scene, I won't, it's a new movie. All we have is a trailer, so I can't really give you any spoilers for it because it's not out yet. I haven't seen it, so I can't really spoil anything, so we don't have to worry about that. But anyway, basically, Josh Hartnett's in it, and I think it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter plays the pop star in it, and I'm not sure who plays Josh Hartnett's daughter in it, but it's Josh Hartnett is the father, and his daughter are going to this pop concert. This teen pop sensation, kind of like Britney Spears or Taylor Swift or Beyonce, that sort of thing, or Miley Cyrus. Basically, the one that all the kids are going crazy over, especially the girls, is this female pop star. It's a rising star, and they're going to one of her concerts. They get there, and all of a sudden they realize they're in the middle of this huge FBI raid that they're trying to do to catch a serial killer who they believe is inside the arena. And so that to me is an awesome premise for a movie. Like, what would you do with this? And then realizing that M. Night Shyamalan is writing it and directing it, there's going to be plot twists left and right in it. And I talked about some of his different movies, the ones I did like, the ones I didn't like. And M. Night Shyamalan, We look at, you think of master of suspense, you would think of somebody like Alfred Hitchcock from the 1950s and 60s, and I believe in the 70s, maybe even he was making movies. But he had some big movies like The Birds. Psycho was his major hit, the original Psycho, with Norman Bates in it. Fantastic movie. The suspense. I mean, the first half of that movie, a huge chunk of it was just this girl driving in a car for probably 10-15 minutes. I'm just estimating in my head, just driving in her car, and there's no dialogue. It's just her by herself, and the only dialogue is in her head. And that is a master of suspense that can pull that off in a movie, to where you just got the one character in a vehicle by themselves, just like I am right now, but not even talking out loud, not even communicating with anybody, but just you hearing the thoughts inside their head as they're looking around and seeing the surroundings, and moving on to the next part of the movie. And then, of course, the plot twists in that. And so I think maybe M. Night Shyamalan got a lot of his ideas. Maybe he grew up watching some of Alfred Hitchcock movies. The Rope is a good one. Oh man, if you ever get a chance to watch The Rope, I don't know what year that came out. It must have been late 50s, early 60s. Alfred Hitchcock movie. Just one scene. It's like all in one. The whole movie is set in one scene, in one room. It's almost like a stage play sort of thing, and it's these two characters that have just committed a murder, and just watching them fall apart, as to where the one starts to have regrets and they start to get suspicious of each other and everything, and they have guests come over, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but fantastic movie. But anyway, Alfred Hitchcock. If you get a chance to watch some of his movies, can't go wrong for suspense and the thriller type thing. Mostly suspense. Master of suspense. That's Alfred Hitchcock. Well, today's version of Alfred Hitchcock, when it comes to master of suspense, I would say M. Night Shyamalan is almost, you could call him a master of the plot twist. And The Sixth Sense was his first major, his breakthrough hit that was just fantastic, critically acclaimed, awesome movie. There was hardly any flaws in it. It just kept you grilled to it. I've watched other people reacting to it online, and it's one of the, after you've seen a movie, you go back and you watch the reactions, and a lot of times you'll want to fast forward through certain sections, and you're looking for that one scene that stands out that you want to see the reaction to. Well, Sixth Sense, whenever I watch somebody's reaction to that, I'm watching the entire video, because I want to see the reactions to not just the one or two plot twists in it toward the end, but there's so many scenes all the way through it that you want to see the reaction to what's happening in these scenes. And so he had his hit or miss movies. Some of them were hits, like that one, The Sixth Sense. The Signs was a good one. It had a great faith message in that one. That was Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson and one of the Culkin brothers, Macaulay Culkin's little brother, Kieran, I think it was in it. Fantastic movie. Not as good as The Sixth Sense. I rate Sixth Sense way up there, even above Signs, even though it had a great spiritual message. Devil is a movie that M. Night Shyamalan put out, and with the spiritual themes in that one, I absolutely adored that movie. I loved it. In fact, I put it up there with Sixth Sense, maybe even nudging above The Sixth Sense, because of the spiritual themes in it. And it was, from a Christian perspective, it was more grounded in reality, I felt, than, at least from a Christian perspective version of reality, than The Sixth Sense had. Because I don't believe in ghosts the way they were presented in The Sixth Sense. But it was a very enjoyable movie. I love watching the movie. But Devil, the way it was presented, and the underlying themes, I mentioned this in my review, of forgiveness. And when you withhold forgiveness, how that eats at your soul. And the devil uses that against us, Even though the other person was in the wrong, when we choose not to forgive, I forget who said it, but somebody once said famously something to the effect of, when you choose not to forgive, you're not punishing that person. It doesn't really matter to them if you forgive them or not. If you don't forgive somebody, the person that you're really hurting is yourself. It's eating you up on the inside. And I forget the exact quote, but somebody famous said something to that effect. And it's so true. And that was one of the themes that came across in that movie, Devil, is basically these strangers are trapped in an elevator that's shut down in between floors, and one of them is a killer. In fact, one of them is the devil inside a human, posing as a human, and killing them off one by one. And the suspense is trying to figure out, okay, which one's the killer? How are you going to survive? The devil himself being in this, and then finding out the themes, between them. Why are they there? What are their sins that the devil is using against them, turning them against each other and stuff. Fantastic movie and great spiritual themes. Anyway, I'm hoping Trap is like that it's got the themes that you can really latch on to, and it's got the plot twist just like those movies did. And I won't go into too much more detail for the sake of time, but some of his other movies kind of fell flat for me. Some of them, the acting wasn't that great in, and some of them just weren't written that well. When he writes a blockbuster hit, it's fantastic. But every once in a while, he writes one. Lady in the Water was one that I was disappointed with. It didn't really have any major plot twists and no major surprises. It didn't feel like an M. Night Shyamalan movie to me. And The Visit was one that had a lot of promise, but really didn't follow through. The acting, that was one where I thought the acting was very subpar. They got some no-name actors, and of course there's a reason why you want to do that. It's because it lends more credibility to your film, as far as when you see a familiar face, one of these big name stars in the movie, sometimes it's hard for you to separate the actor from the character. And so by seeing new faces, particularly with the children they cast in the movie, I can see why you would want to do that. Haley Mills, by the way, is going to be in Trap. And I won't go into detail about her, but anyway, you can watch the other video for where I talk about her. But Haley Joel Osment was one where he was originally in Forrest Gump. He was Forrest's son in Forrest Gump, and then later he played the main character, the child, alongside of Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense. And this was an instance where they cast a fairly new young actor, and he just stole it. He ran away with it. Just brilliant acting. In fact, a lot of people say he should have won an Oscar for his performance, as was Toni Collette, the woman who played his mother. Bruce Willis did a fantastic job, but those two, Haley Joel Osment and Toni Collette, they stole the movie with their brilliant emotional acting. Just fantastic. Just remember in that one particular scene, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the last scene between the two of them, very emotional and fantastic. If you watch the movie, it's worth watching just for that scene at the end after all that they go through. But anyway, in the movie, there's this, basically it's set in this concert or arena type setting. And we got 5 minutes left for the hour, so I'm going to try to speed through this. But during my reaction, I commented that seeing them in that arena and that concert atmosphere reminded me of my daughter. And I remember when she was growing up, she grew up watching the Disney princesses and stuff like that, the Disney Channel. She grew up with Hannah Montana and iCarly, and there was another show. There was one that she liked better than that. It was a dance show, and there was like the girls on it were dancers, I think, or singers or something. And I can't remember what the name of the show was, but that was her favorite. And there's another one, something about Charlie, which was the little girl's name. I Love Charlie or something. But she liked that one too. But her favorite one was about dancers. And I wish I could think of what the name of that movie, that show was. But anyway, she grew up with that sort of thing, with the Hannah Montana thing. So when she got a little bit older, not quite a teen, or maybe in her early teen years, like 10, 11 years old. One year for her birthday, I wanted to take her to a concert. She was big on Hannah Montana or something, and back at the time, Taylor Swift was big, not as big as she is now, but she was a big pop star, and she was still doing her country stuff, and she was still family friendly. And before, nowadays, even Taylor Swift has gotten a little bit controversial sometimes with her lyrics and her themes that she comes by in her movies or in her music. And so back when Miley Cyrus was Hannah Montana, she was the innocent pop star. Would I take her would I take my daughter to see a Hannah Montana concert? Absolutely. I would have took her to see Hannah Montana anytime. Would I take her to see Miley Cyrus after she became an adult and started doing the more adult type music? No way. I've seen some of the YouTube videos showing some clips of her concerts that was after that. I wouldn't go to one of those concerts if you paid me. Just decadence and just horrible stuff that just disgusting. The sexualization that it turned out to be, and a lot. That's what happens a lot of times with these Disney stars, is they start out wholesome and family friendly because they're kids, obviously. And so I would definitely take my daughter to see Hannah Montana or Taylor Swift in her early days. But then as they get older, and these young child stars end up breaking out as young adults, and they have to let the world know that they're not kids anymore. They want to stand on their own feet, and they want to be recognized not as a kid anymore, but as an adult. And so obviously, one of the things they're going to do is they're going to start doing more risque things with their music. Another one I would not take my daughter to see was Christina Aguilera. Back before I became a full-time pastor, I was a youth leader with the youth group at the church where I eventually became the pastor of that church. But before I was their pastor, I was their youth leader. And I remember this is back in the late 90s. And there was this young girl, like 9 or 10 years old, that came to our youth group. And this was back when Christina Aguilera came out with her first big hit, Genie in a Bottle. And you probably all remember that song, I'm a genie in a bottle, rub me the right way. I remember this little girl, 9 or 10 years old, dancing and gyrating to that song, and it was disgusting. I mean, the sexualized moves that a child of that age was doing, and of course she didn't think anything of it. She didn't think. I'm absolutely convinced that she didn't think anything sexual of it at all. Probably had no idea what sex was, but doing those moves. And this is one of the things about my daughter being a dancer. She's been involved in dance class since she was a young child and grew up loving dance. She still loves it today. In fact, she's graduating from college next month, and she's studying multimedia. And so she's studying every aspect of it, to where she could go out, she could run the cameras, she could be a director, she could even be in front of the camera, she could be the star. But she's interested right now in news and media and that sort of thing, and helping to produce and put out that sort of thing. But one of her dreams growing up was that she wanted to eventually get her own dance studio and teach children how to dance. Well, when she was little, it was innocent, it was beautiful, it was awesome to see these little kids dancing, and the energy that they had and the fun that they were having doing it, and it was just so sweet and cute and everything. They get a little bit older, and one of the concerns that you have as a parent is who is in the audience that is looking at them in a different way. Not looking at them as sweet, innocent children, but might have these warped things going on inside their head. And that's a concern that parents have, and that I had. I found myself having these, as sometimes I would see their costumes get a little bit skimpy, or maybe the the songs that they were dancing to were a little bit risque, or maybe the dance moves might be slightly suggestive. One thing that I was pleased with is the studio that my daughter went to growing up was run by a lady who was careful about that. She didn't want to over sexualize the children and stuff, but um, growing up in the 70s and 80s, I remember in the 90s particularly. If you ever heard the name John Benet Ramsey, if you haven't, look it up on Google. It's Jonbenet was her first name, Ramsey. It was this little girl that disappeared. She was murdered, and turns out, I don't know if they ever did solve that. The parents were suspects in it and everything, but I remember the case vividly because they really sexualized her from a young age. She was very young. I think she's only like 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7 at the most when she died, when she was killed. But they took her to these child beauty pageants and dressed her up, put all the makeup on her face and stuff. She didn't look like a child. She looked like, she was, I mean, if you're going to have a child beauty pageant, have the kids look like kids. You want to see the innocent beauty in them. You don't want to have them looking like they're, streetwalkers sort of thing, which is what a lot of these beauty pageants today for children often are. And when you see the dancers today, the kids, you turn on TV and see these things that they're producing for children and how they're presenting children nowadays, and they're not making them look like kids. They're making them look like adults. Today's 14-year-old might look like she's 21. Today's 10-year-old might look like she's 16 or 17. And that's not healthy for a society, is to make your kids look like they're adults. That just opens up a whole can of worms to where you're just asking for trouble. Putting these kids in that situation. Let them be kids. But anyway, all that to say is I wouldn't have took my daughter to see Christina Aguilera doing her Genie in a Bottle, Rub Me the Right Way, Lord lyrics and dance moves. Just to put it bluntly, it rubbed me the wrong way. Seeing that little girl dance like that and realizing how sexualized the thing had become with young children. But anyway, seeing that scene in there reminded me of how at that, I wanted to take her for her birthday to see Taylor Swift. I had an opportunity to get Taylor Swift tickets to see her. That's been probably 15 years ago now, close to, over 10 years, maybe close to 15 years. Like I said, she's graduating college next month, but I wanted to take her to see Taylor Swift in concert. Something happened and we ended up not being able to go. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if a friend had a birthday party or something that conflicted with it, or something was going on, and our schedule didn't allow it, so I ended up not being able to take her. But being a musician, I grew up. We did end up taking her to concerts where my band played. It was great taking her to see some country, country music too. Country music historically has been more wholesome, family friendly than a lot of pop and rock stuff. Although sometimes country music can get pretty racy itself too. They don't get a free pass either. The beer drinking songs and stuff like that. But some Christian contemporary songwriters, bands, and musicians that I grew up listening to, and even my band playing with some of them. It was good to be able to take her to some of those where it was family friendly and she could enjoy that environment. And I remember when she was wee little, my band would go out and play, and my wife would bring her to the concerts, and they'd be there. And she grew up listening to our music, which was cool, and playing our CD and stuff. But anyway, just seeing that scene reminded me of that time when I wanted to take her to a concert and never got the opportunity to do so. And so that's my thoughts on that. But anyway, if you want to go over to the video section of my channel here, you can see my reaction to M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. And you can see my other comments on there about Haley Mills, who is my child crush growing up. She's going to be in Trap, and so I have a few words to say on there about her and her legacy as a Disney princess or Disney child star. Back when they first started, she was probably the first Disney child star with the movie Pollyanna and then the original Parent Trap. So check that out and comment down below. You know, what you think about the coffee thing, obviously. But then, if you want to about our conversation here, my dialogue, or not really dialogue, my monologue, kind of give me your 2 cents worth. You ever been to any concerts? Taking your kids to concerts, or as a kid go to concerts? Who did you see? Did you enjoy it? Was it family friendly? And if you're an adult, would you take your kids to see a concert like that today? Who would you go to see? Who wouldn't you go to see because of the way that they're portrayed to youth as a role model or as a bad role model, as the case may be? And then come back. You can subscribe, comment first, but subscribe to the channel. That way you know when I drop a new video. I'm going to start doing those videos regularly with the reactions to trailers whenever they come out. And I'm going to continue to do these live mukbangs and food reviews every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. So you've got your choice if you want to see the food stuff and then the little just conversation like we just had afterwards about whatever comes to mind, then Sunday afternoon's your thing. And if you get here during the live stream, you can join in the chat and talk live, but have a conversation back and forth. So it's not just me talking, but we can kind of talk back and forth, and you can get your opinions and your views maybe on the stream also for the other viewers to hear. And then if you don't catch the stream when it's live, usually the day after on Monday or possibly Tuesday, I will re-upload that. However long it takes Facebook or YouTube to process the video. Usually it takes overnight, so that's why it's on Monday or Tuesday that it gets uploaded. But you can watch it then and then comment in the description or comment in the comments down below. So like it, comment, subscribe, and maybe share it with your friends. Let them know we're here. So the more subscriptions we get, the better it is for the channel. The more likes we get, the better it is for the channel. That's the best way you can support me. If you want to go beyond that and help support financially, you don't have to, but if you do, there's a PayPal link in the description below. And if you want to chip in a couple dollars here and there, just to kind of support the channel financially, help us keep things going, because fast food prices the way they are. The menu today was $11 at one and $9 for the other, so that's pushing $20 just for a couple cups of coffee. You know how fast food prices are. I'm sure you guys are tired of paying out the butt too. I shouldn't have said it that way. Paying out the nose for I apologize. Paying out the nose, some of these prices we have today. Boy, I'm sorry. On that note, everybody have a great week. And if you want to, you can donate through the PayPal link, but it's not necessary. Just as long as you subscribe and like and comment, that's the main thing. And watch through the week for videos to come up if you're interested in seeing the movie reaction videos. And if the food thing is your thing, then come back on Sunday afternoons at 2 for the live stream. Anyway, you guys have a great week. I'm going to go wash my mouth out with soap. Bye, everybody.